What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I hope that everyone out there on the old interweb is doing well, and I hope that everybody is safe. So the sound that you're hearing in the background now is from a gentleman named Ariel Posen. Now, as I've said in some videos, I like to browse through my Apple streaming music service that I use and find new things under different genres, or have it delivered to me through the streaming service. And as I was browsing music the other day, an album popped up called Mile End by a gentleman named Ariel Posen. So as I was driving, I hit play and was presently surprised by what I found. Now, full disclosure, I don't know anything about this cat. I just heard this maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and thought I would dig into it. So here we go. But before we get into it, make sure you subscribe, comment, and I've started a Patreon account. There's a link below. Click it, check it out, get a little community of music lovers started, see how that is. So yeah, Ariel Posen. Now this is his 4th studio album from what I can see. He's got, this album is called Mile End and was released October 1st of 2021. And it's 11 songs and runs 47 minutes. Now, like I said, I don't really know a ton about this artist. I'm just now getting into this guy. But let me tell you guys, he is a monster guitar player from just a little bit that I've seen and a little bit of research I did on YouTube. So let's dig into them for just a moment. So for gear, I have to say, there are guys out there like myself that use, just basic guitar pedals, amps, things of that nature. But this guy has got some serious gear. Doing a little research for amplifiers, he uses a 2-rock. Now, if you've never heard a 2-rock amp, they are Dumble based amps. Dumble amps are created by Alexander Dumble from California. That guy is very reclusive, very erratic, enigmatic. There's a lot of words you can use to describe the cat. No website, hard to get a hold of. Builds amps for who's of guitar players, right? So 2-rocks are based off of his design, his kind of sound. Very clean, very punchy, very articulate. So the research that I've seen, Ariel Posen uses a 2-rock, and then he uses a guitar, and I had to look the guitar up because I had never seen it. It's made by a company called Mule Resophonic Guitars, and I will post a link below to their stuff. It's a baritone guitar, and it's a Stratocaster shaped guitar, but the neck, and it looks to be set up kind of like what Ry Cooder's guitar, and some of you may not know what I'm talking about, but it's a very specific setup, and like I said, I'll post a link to it. It's very lengthy description to read about this guitar, but it's not your standard just off the shelf guitar, which is cool. And he says in an interview that the guitar has become more of an extension of his art than he really realized. So from what I can tell, it's tuned to a baritone. It's a 25.5 scale length, and he uses beefy strings. He says a 17 to a 64. It's really heavy. So yeah, I'll post a link to that guitar. It's very cool. You need to check it out. And their website has got some merchandise and the history of the guitars and all that, but it's cool. Now, for his pedal board, man, this dude has got a setup like you would not believe. And I'll post a link to it too from what I can find. So he uses a pedal board built by Goodwood, and also it's kind of a MIDI loop. It's an extreme setup. It's very cool. So he's got, and I've got it in front of me because I typically try to remember what artists are using so I can talk about them. But this is one of the most detailed boards that I've seen as far as the way it's wired and all that. So I've got it in front of me so I can see it. So his signal chain is he's got a Schmidt array patch panel. It's cables, so it's just like any other patch bay where you ins and outs, so you can put multiple things in it. He's got a TC Electronics Polytune Mini, which is just standard tuner. Morningstar ML5, which is a MIDI controlled bypass looper. It's a true bypass looper too, so he can play and record at the same time and hit play, and then that sound will keep going. That's what a looper does, for those that don't know. So with that pedal chain that he's using, it's got multiple switches on it, so each switch you can assign pedals, right? So he says on his first loop he's got an octave, and then the second loop he's got a Secret Machine Dan octave, which is another fuzz. So he's got an octave fuzz and a fuzz, and then he's got a preamp. Loop 3, so switch 3 would be a King Tone Duelist, which is a dual overdrive. Switch 4 would be a Hudson Electronics Broadcast. It's his signature, Ariel Posen signature overdrive. I'm going to do some research on that because I have not heard one of those. It'd be cool to check that out. Button 5 has got a Keeley Hydra Tremolo reverb, and then he's got a pitch shifter, a Poly Effects Bebo, which is it says it's a modular effect in stereo, and then a Chase Bliss audio reverb. So there you go. It's an extensive pedal board. I'll post a link to it. It's cool. It's very cool when guys dig into their sound like that, and their gear is just immaculate and wired up to where it's their unique sound, and that I can really respect. It's not just an overdrive and a wah like your typical guitar stuff that most of us use. I'm guilty of that. I am a very simplistic. Anybody that's ever seen my board is very simplistic. A boost, a wah, a tuner, a phaser, a tremolo, a delay, and a univibe, and I'm kind of good. That's a lot, but that's what I've always ran. So yeah, I'll copy a link down to this dude's board, but it is ridiculous. So let's get into his music, right? So, like I said, I'd never heard this artist, and they have him listed as like roots rock in Apple Music, but I don't really know if I agree. One, I don't like putting artists in genres because I just don't, but I don't like labeling anybody or anything that they do, especially when they're creating art. They're just creating an extension of themselves for us to enjoy, and if you enjoy it, then you're blessed by it. If not, then you move on to something else that touches your ear or your soul or whatever. That's getting a little out there, but that's just how I feel about it. So I hear some. I don't know what his influences are. Like I said, I just got into this cat, but I hear some Ry Cooder. If you've never listened to Ry Cooder, you need to hit some of that. I hear some Eric Johnson. I hear a little Dire Straits. The gentleman is from Canada, so his influences are going to be a little different than maybe a Southern American like I am. But That's what I hear. His use of tone and his touch while playing is just immaculate, and it's very, very clean, very clear. So you can tell that he has mastered the craft of guitar over his years of playing. So most of this, or I think all this album that I've listened to, is instrumental, which is cool. You don't hear that much nowadays. You have to dig for that kind of stuff. And let's talk my top tracks, right? So my top tracks. So number 3 is going to be the number 6 song on the album, and it's a song called Clawhammer. It does run 4 minutes and 30 seconds, but just listening to the technique in it, with it sounds like he has a fuzz going, probably his signature fuzz. It sounds like he's kind of claw hammering it to me in parts of it, which is a technique with your pick hand, and it's real dirty, but it's really controlled dirt, which is very cool. So yeah, my number 3 pick off the album would be the number 6 song, Clawhammer. So number two for me is going to be Tumble Away. Now, Tumble Away is the second song on the album and runs 3 minutes and 57 seconds. Tumble Away is very it's got an atmosphere that builds throughout the song, and it starts low, it drives. I don't know, it's just very I don't really know the word I'm looking for. It's just got an atmosphere to it. It's got a very earthy sound to it, which is very cool. The reverb that he's using, it fills the room even when you're listening to it. Like, you can tell that it filled the studio when he recorded it. And as you're listening, whether it was in the car or whether it was here in the house or the garage or whatever, you can hear it. So that's very cool. And then my number 1 song on the album, which floored me, is the number 3 song on the album, and it's called After the Rain. And the slide in this beginning of this, it sounds almost like a lap steel, like a Hawaiian steel, but this again is very aromatic, right? So it's got this just openness to it that it very reminds me of an Eric Johnson kind of jam. Not so much driving like Cliffs of Dover, but it's very open. And his technique on this is, skill level technique is, you can tell that he is really emotionally into his guitar playing, which I respect so much. And while you're listening to this, like I said on the last track, it just fills the room, and really you can feel the vibe. Like the title After the Rain, me being from the South, I could kind of smell the blacktop. I could kind of hear the calmness of the water flowing off of everything. I know I'm getting a little out there and I'm getting a little deep, but that's what music is meant to do, right? And that's what this track did for me. So if you get a chance, this is an album that needs to be listened to intently. And if you're out, let's say, I wouldn't say this is the drive to work album, okay? I'm going to say that this is the countryside drive through the valley. As I'm filming this, we're going into the 3rd week of October. The leaves are changing. This would be a good album to be out and get in our environment and get into the atmosphere of what's going on. I know it's October. This is not a spooky album, but it is very it's an emotional thing, but it's not like a sad, it just draws a lot out of you. So I really implore people to sit down and listen to this. Don't turn it on as background noise the first time you listen to it. Like, if you're chilling in the house and you want to burn some incense and hang out and have a drink without the TV on, without the world, without living inside your cell phone, please turn this on. Please turn this on and do that. Okay? I feel like this guy's technique and this guy's skill level, it kind of deserves the respect that it needs on the first or second listen to set and really absorb what he's got going on. Because it's emotional for some reason. Like, the album just really flows so well. It's well produced. So there you go. I'm getting a little out there today. I don't know. Maybe it's just my mood. I don't know. But this album really struck me. So there you go. On my jam scale, what do I give it? Overall, I give this a 4. 4 jams out of 5. Like I said, if you're waking up first thing in the morning and you need something to get the blood flowing and pump you up to get you to work, I don't really think this is for it. You know, after work, if you're coming home and you need to decompress and you don't want to live in your cell phone like a lot of people do, and you just want a really chill, mellow vibe to go on in your house or in your car, this album will get you there. And, you know, if you're on the weekend and the lights are low and you got a little incense burning or something, whatever smoke you want to fill your house with, this will get there too, and it'll be a good time. I'm telling you, listen to it, but really hear it. I've said that before in videos. You know, do you really hear things, or are you just hearing them, right? So really hear this, ladies and gents. Really soak this in. So there you go. Ariel Posen. The album is Mile End. It will not disappoint you. I'm telling you. So there you go. Stay safe. Keep rocking. And remember that music is love, and love is music. Enjoy.